Hello and welcome to Misrepresented. I'm Lisa Opie, and today I'm super excited because this is going to be a really interesting episode, you guys. I have my college roommate and former Zeta Tau Alpha sorority sister, Kristin Longest, who now works at a Fortune 500 company. So she works in tech. We have so much to get into. Welcome, Kristin.
Thanks, Lisa. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy. So before we get into all the fun stuff, we have to say thank you to Pink Apple Dresses for dressing us today. How do you feel in your dress?
I love it. I feel so comfortable right now. Yes. I can't tell you how comfortable this dress is.
And I feel like interviews are something that's so hard to get ready for and figure out what to wear, but Pink Apple has the perfect thing for work, interviews, events, they have it all. So check them out. They're linked down below. Okay, so where do we start?
I guess we should start how we met.
Okay, yes.
So Lisa and I met maybe, I think it was 10 or 11 years ago. We joined the same sorority, Zeta.
Yeah.
And about a week before classes, I had posted in the Zeta group chat and said, hey, I need a roommate. And you were the only one that responded.
Because it was 2 weeks before classes started. So, of course, I'm a procrastination queen. Yeah. Needed a place to live. And yeah, that was a basement.
Yeah, basement. I think we called it the cave at the time because it was so dark and you had to go down this really scary alley just to get into the...
There were spider webs everywhere. It was super dark. I mean,
the doors were always unlocked.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we would come home and we would have friends that are sitting in the living room and I was like, oh, hi, I guess we left the door open.
It's enter if you dare because people are probably scared to go down that alleyway to our basement. But, a lot of good memories were made there. Vizcaya swimwear and so much.
Yeah, we did a lot in that basement. I remember one night I came home. I must have taken night classes, and Lisa was sitting at the kitchen table with her sewing machine, and she had yellow fabric laid all out on the floor. And I was like, Lisa, what are you doing? I had never seen you with a sewing machine before. I didn't even know you could sew.
Oh my God.
And you were like, oh, I'm starting a swimwear line.
I was just casual on Tuesday night sewing in the basement on my mom's sewing machine. But...
Yeah, I was like, cool, can I help?
Wait, so Zeta Tau Alpha, what made you want to join the sorority?
So I think I wanted to join the sorority because I was looking for that tight-knit group of friends. I had transferred to VCU from JMU.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
that's a good school. You were smart.
Well, I actually started in music too. I was going to major in music, and then I not only switched my major, but I decided to change schools. So I changed my major to business, came back to VCU, and I just thought that joining a sorority would be a good way to make new friends.
Yeah.
Because I already knew some people at VCU. I had grown up in the area, but I just wanted to expand my network a little bit
and get involved. And that's really how we met.
Yeah.
So I seriously credit all of Vizcaya swimwear to you. I mean, all of it was a college, it was an experiment, honestly, starting a business in college. We had interns and you spearheaded a lot of that.
Yeah, I don't think we took I don't think we were taking ourselves that seriously, but when I think back on all of the things that we did a lot in that basement when we were standing up Vizcaya. And to your point, yeah, we had 4 interns that we got because I think at one point I was like, oh, we should do all these cool ideas, but it's just the 2 of us,
we needed help.
We needed so much help. So we hired 4 interns. And when I say hired, we didn't have any money. So they were unpaid interns. Yes. And we had to go and do research to figure out what are the laws around unpaid internships. Yeah, because
I feel it's a fine line between an unpaid internship and slavery. So now I can tell you all the details about an unpaid internship and what makes it legal.
Yeah, and we had to draw up contracts for our interns and make sure that we were providing value back to them as well. So, I mean, we were doing the most, but we had a full team, and we even brought in, I don't know if you remember Jasmine Tanner. She was one of our sororities. She's so amazing. Jasmine is so sharp. At the time, she was majoring in marketing, and so we brought her in for our PR interns. We were like, hey, can you teach them how to do press releases and media packages? And she was like, sure. And off of that, we actually got some on-air time.
Yeah, I got on CBS this morning thanks to Jasmine and the intern work, and that was really cool, getting all that press.
Yeah, and then one of our interns made a bikini, her own bikini, and we sold that, and there was just a lot going on. And so once we kind of had the team in place, it was really cool because then we got to start getting creative around like, how are we actually going to launch the brand, you know? And so we were just like talking about different ideas at the table. And I think the Sports Illustrated calendar came up. So I was like, do you remember when Sports Illustrated used to do their calendar like every year? And at this time, like, I guess when we were in college, like those traditional 90s brands were starting to kind of like die out a little bit.
Definitely.
And so I was like, oh, can we bring that back?
Yeah. And I was doing pageants. So we're like, let's throw in like a pageant aspect to it.
And you had just gotten the sponsorship with Miss United States pageant. So it was like, there were a lot of synergies there. But yeah, it was really fun. We did a lot.
I mean, that's how like Miss Vizcaya Swimwear started, because it used to be a photo contest and that was it. But like you had the idea to make it a live event, a red carpet, like making these handmade invitation cards. Like it was like getting invited to the Met Gala in Richmond, Virginia, honestly.
For Richmond, it was a big deal for Richmond. We put a lot into that. But it was fun.
That's really like what made it take off.
Well, actually, I was thinking about this the other day. I think what made it take off was the fact that we leveraged influencer marketing before it was even a thing.
Give me an example.
So at the time, Lisa was doing most of the location scouting. She was booking a lot of the fashion shows, and she was managing kind of like all of the brand partnerships. And so she had a great network of these pageant winners, and they had their own followings. And so we said, okay, we're going to get all of the spokesmodels that are competing to be Miss Vizcaya Swimwear to promote the calendar, to promote the event, and then whoever
the swimsuit line. We got so much buzz around Vizcaya Swimwear.
Yeah, and then whoever won the contest got the cover of the calendar. Genius. And so it was genius.
Wow.
We were much
like,
smarter
back then than I am now.
I wonder that. I ask myself that all the time. I was like, wow, we were doing pretty good. We didn't know what any of it was called. We were just like trying to have fun and maybe make a little bit of money on the side.
I don't think we made any money.
No, we didn't.
We spent a lot of money, but it was so much fun learning and like just growing and like building our friendship off of that was so amazing.
Yeah, we had a really good group of girls. It was fun. We had a lot of fun together.
Yeah. So from there, now you work at a Fortune 500 company, like huge, right? So do you feel like any of that, like leadership, I guess, start back in the day helped you?
I think back after I graduated from college, I had a lot of imposter syndrome. So we did a lot of cool stuff. And now that I've been in the corporate world a while, I know how to talk about it. I know how to describe what we were doing, but I didn't have any like real like formal training. And so I felt like I really needed that. And so definitely what we did helped. Like for sure. I gained so many skills that I didn't even think about at the time. But I think I was really entering the corporate world because I wanted that validation. You know, I wanted like to know that I was doing the right things, that I understood business. And so I just wanted to get more experience, I think.
Wow.
But yeah, it definitely helped.
Here you are. Like, tell me about I guess like how you got into it, how you got started, working up the corporate ladder as a woman. I mean, I want to get like into all of this.
Yeah. So I guess I got into the corporate world when I moved to Denver, Colorado right after college. And I started working for a small website development company at the time. And I also knew that technology was a male-dominated field.
Yeah.
So I wanted to use my disadvantage as a minority in the field as my advantage.
Wow.
So I actually was like, well, if I can learn all of the skills that I need, then they'll be more likely to hire me because I'm a woman, right? Yeah. Like I wanted to use that disadvantage to my advantage, like I said. And so I put my head down. I learned as much as I could. I got a new certification every year. I went to a bunch of conferences.
Wow.
And then over time, I just slowly worked my way up. And I think like the aha moment for me was I was working at a company called Unbox Technology. And that's when my current company called me. And they said, hey, would you like to come work with us? And for me, I was like...
So they reached out to you
first? They reached out to me first. That had never happened to me. It's called...
huge. And it's a Fortune 500 company, you guys. Like, it's a major corporation. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, it was a big deal. So it's called poaching. I didn't know that at the time, but I was like, oh, I got poached, I felt so special. But really, it was all about my network. They had called because they knew me through my brother, and my brother had built a strong brand. And so, like, that helped a lot. To have that there. But
do you feel like you had to work harder to prove yourself? Like, do you think like your gender did impact working your way up in the corporate world?
100%. Being a woman will impact your promotions, your performance reviews, kind of the language that they use. Oftentimes, women tend to get referred to as emotional or passionate versus men get referred to as determined and ambitious. And so you have to overcome a lot of those barriers in the corporate world. In one particular instance or example that stands out to me is, you know, I had worked really hard in my career and finally got an opportunity to present to a board of executives. It was about 12 men on the board.
Wow.
And at the
end, you were the only girl.
I was the only female. Only female in the room. That is a very common occurrence for me, especially in my field.
Wow.
And so after my presentation, one of the men had asked me what my credentials were. And that was,
if you were a man, they wouldn't ask you.
No.
I feel like it would be very unlikely.
It would be very unlikely. And even crazier was that the person who was asking me only had 1 or 2 years of experience in this field versus my decade of experience. And so that's a tough challenge to overcome in the moment, because you want to make sure that you're responding appropriately, that you're,
because the second you show emotion, emotional.
Exactly. So, I very calmly said, well, I have a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and Management. I got a minor in economics. I have these 8 certifications, and I've probably read hundreds of books on this topic at this point.
Wow.
And so just having to have those types of conversations is really tough, because I do know that if my male counterparts would have had the same presentation, they wouldn't have been questioned as heavily. But I think that happens a lot, though. It happens a lot when I'm poking in the right places. And when at that time, I was actually sharing information that was probably hard for the business to hear. But, I had triple checked my numbers. I was like,
but you're doing your job.
I'm doing my job. And I was like, really the only way to move forward is to accept where we're at. And as a team, we have to come up with a strategy on how we can make this better.
Wow.
And so I try to just redirect the conversation, but that's something that we do deal with a lot.
Do you have any advice for women that work in tech and how they can, I guess, find equality, equal treatment? Because I feel like there still is an imbalance, and how we can find more representation with women in tech.
Yeah, I think, stand firm. If do your research, make sure that you have all your ducks in a row, but at the end of the day, you have to have confidence in yourself. And when you're confident, it makes other people feel confident as well. So that's one of the easiest tips. It takes no time. Be prepared and be confident. And that will really make a big difference, especially when you're dealing with other men when you're working. You want to make sure that you're kind of matching their energy at the table.
Ooh, that's tough, because I feel like when we're successful, it's this is off topic, but I just thought of this. Successful women have more trouble finding men to date. Right? It affects our dating relationships because all of a sudden we're too masculine.
Yes. Yeah. Which is interesting because, as somebody that works really hard in my day-to-day work, when I come home, I definitely don't want to feel masculine. I want to feel very feminine, but it does affect dating as well. Yeah.
I feel
it can be intimidating, I think.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get into that a little more later, but I know you did something major with Airbnb, so tell me all about that.
So this was also really exciting. I've had a lot of awesome opportunities present themselves to me, but more recently I was working with a vendor. At my current company, I do strategy execution. So our company sets a strategy and I help us figure out how we're actually going to achieve that. And we work with a vendor to do that. It's called Workboard. And so Airbnb is also a Workboard client. And they went to them and they said, we're really struggling in this area. Do you have any clients that are your top 1% to 2% that you would recommend us talk to?
Wow.
And they came to me and they said, we would love for you to share how you created your strategy execution program and to share that with Airbnb and any learnings you had. And so I did. I got to meet with the global leaders of Airbnb.
Oh my gosh.
I am just some small town girl from Mechanicsville, Virginia.
I can't believe I was your roommate in college. Oh my gosh.
And
That's
so
amazing.
it was a really awesome opportunity. You never know what's going to come up. And so, always try and network as much as you can and do the best that you can, because you never know who's watching, or what opportunities could come from that. But really exciting.
That's like huge.
Well, and I have to thank my company as well, because, you know, they allowed me to do that, because you know, we spend a lot of time and money like curating our approaches to things, and the fact that they were even willing to let me have that conversation, you know, I was really grateful.
Yeah, I know, that's amazing. So next, will you come and do one for Lady Code?
Yes.
I would love that. It's like a full circle moment.
Yeah,
she's back.
We work so well together, though.
So well together, because like you're like the yin to my yang. Because I'm just this like creative hot mess, and you're like this organized like business person.
And not creative. That's just not, my brain doesn't work that way. I need my partner in crime.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Oh, I miss you. Move back to Miami.
Well, I'm Tampa now, so
we're so
it's close.
Yeah,
we just need to buy our tickets a little earlier next time.
Oh, I know. Okay, so let's see what else. Okay, so what's like your favorite college memory of us together? Or a funny one?
I think the funniest memory I have of us is actually of a time where we shot B-roll for a reality television show. And the reality show was, I think it was called The Hunt, and it was like a survival show.
And they needed a sorority duo. So I was like, I'm a sorority girl, I want to be on TV. And I don't know how I convinced you. Like, you're such a real one for being like, okay, I'll do this with you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't care. I was just like along for the ride. Whatever Lisa was doing in college, I was just like, can I come? Like,
I love that. Oh my gosh.
Can I show you this video though?
Yeah.
I have a video of us.
Do I even want to see it? I'm scared.
She doesn't want to see it. She doesn't want to see it, but I'm going to make her watch it anyways.
Oh my gosh. The run. Oh my gosh, if we could run a mile. We ran like half a block.
And guys, we were like, when she says ran, we were jogging at a pace where like people in the video are like walking past us because we're jogging so slow.
Oh my god.
And then we stop and put our hand on our hip and say, if we can run a mile, we can be on the hunt.
This is gold. So I hope you guys enjoyed that clip of us in college. I think we both had a glow up.
we definitely had a glow up, but we were doing so much back then. Like, when I think about it, we did one of those fashion shows. Like, Lisa would book these fashion shows and photo shoots, and one of the fashion shows was actually with Camille from America's Next Top Model.
Huge.
Do you remember that?
That was huge.
Yeah, like, I mean, thinking back, we did so much in the alpaca farm. I don't know if you remember the alpaca farm. So we had a photo shoot. It was for the Miss Vizcaya Swimwear spokesmodel search, and we went out to some farm. You were like, oh, we got a photo shoot. And so I hopped in the car and we drove about an hour and a half into Suffolk, Virginia. And there were all these alpacas everywhere. But that's where we got that iconic shot of the Monaco bikini. Gosh. And you took it. It wasn't even the photographer. Like, Lisa has so many talents that she's not telling you about. But she took this video and it had a beautiful shadow in the back. It was like, it could have been in Vogue.
That really Monaco with the gold, it's still like one of our best sellers. We still sell it to this day, 10 years later. It's like a classic. Vizcaya. It is classic.
It's so beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful bathing suits.
And we did a lot. We went to high schools. We talked about like going into design. We did RVA Fashion Week. Like, wow.
We were doing the most.
I know.
Didn't even realize it. Like, we were just having fun in the basement.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Trying to fill our time in between classes.
So I feel like for me, college was not, well, okay, going to college and getting a degree was not worth it for me because I didn't use my degree. It's not doing anything for me, but the experiences did a lot for me. So do you feel like college is still important?
Yes and no. So for me, it was, and I was lucky enough that my parents actually paid for my college. So it wasn't really a question of whether or not I would go. But what I will say is that I'm very risk averse. So you were fearless. And
I mean, I got a degree in political science, and before that it was art, so that's pretty risky, right?
Yeah, okay, so that's risky too. Yeah. You're a risk taker, but I'm very much not. And so I always knew that I would want that degree to fall back on. And after I got it, in my mind I was just like, I just want to make my parents proud. Like, I want to feel like their money was well spent, that it was worth it. Yeah. And so that's what I just try to do. I was like, everything I do, I'm like, okay, I hope that I'm like making my parents proud right now.
Oh wow, they have to be so proud of you right now.
Hopefully. But for the next generation behind us, like, I don't know. It's tough. Like VCU, I think, was a good bang for your buck because it was a really affordable college.
The networking was amazing.
Yeah, the networking was great. But I think like if I were to advise like my niece, she's getting ready to go to college, I would probably say either go Ivy League, get those really strong like high net worth connections there because that helps you in corporate job placement. Or I would say take that money and start your own business or like go after something like that you're passionate about. Apprenticeships, certifications, like all of those are
unpaid internships.
Yeah, I feel like it's the experience is really where you learn. Like the book smart is nice to have, but the experience is really the gold there.
I think so too. So I feel like you actually are like using your degree, and it's so amazing to see that. So it's still important when you're going into like tech or business and things like that.
I think it just, you have to really evaluate like what is the field that you're going into, like what are you trying to accomplish, and like is that investment going to give you the return, right? Because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Are you going to make the money back that you're spending?
Ooh, follow-up question. What about sororities?
So I think that depends too, right? Like I met a lot of awesome women by joining Zeta.
Me too.
But with that being said, I didn't stay in Zeta through graduation. And so I think it's a matter of where you want to spend your time, because with sororities, there is a commitment there, right?
Like, huge.
You're doing a lot of community service, you're participating in a lot of events, and a lot of them are like, you get to pick and choose, but some of them are mandatory. So it's a time commitment for sure.
Definitely.
But I wouldn't take it back. I think it was a good learning experience for me, and I met awesome people. So, like, I wouldn't have met you.
Exactly.
Like,
I mean, I have to say the same. Like, this guy's summer wouldn't be what it is today, you know? And, like, a lot of the life experiences came from college. So
it really did.
So, catching up, what is, like, next for you? Like, where do you see yourself in the next, like, 5 or 10 years?
That's a tough question for me to answer because I'm a commitment phobe a little bit. But what I'll say is right now I'm targeting director or VP at a Fortune 500 company.
Yes.
If I can get over my fear of failure, maybe I would go out on my own and do something. I love shopping. Shopping is my favorite pastime. So I'm trying to find a way that I can use that passion and turn it into something where I could actually do that as my career. But who knows? Who knows what the future holds? I'll just keep it. I always keep an open mind and say I'm open to all opportunities that present themselves to me.
And so are you dating anyone right now?
No, I'm single.
So what's it like? Because I'm still with the same guy from college. I have no experience in this crazy dating world, but I see it and I hear about it and I'm like, what is it really like for you?
You are so lucky. I'm so happy that you found Franz. Dating is really tough right now. At least the men that I've been dating, they have no desire to commit. Not only do they not want to commit, but they just don't ever want to be in a long-term relationship.
Why do you think that is?
It's hard to say. Like, I think the dating apps probably have something to do with it because we feel that there's just this, endless sea of people that we can choose from. And so when you find somebody and it starts to get hard and you have to really start to work at it, like a relationship, I think a lot of people say, well, I could have to work hard and make this into something really great, or I could just kind of move on to the next person and it be fun and easy and exciting again.
Like disposable. It's almost like they can't put the work in.
Yeah, I would say dating feels very transactional right now. And that's like not a
and that's on both ends. We can't be like antagonizing the men because like the women are only after men over like 6 foot that have a lot of money, and it's like how many of them are actually out there?
I feel like we've kind of gotten away from like values. Like I want to find somebody that shares the same values, that like is really close with their family, that likes the same like activities. So it's definitely not one-sided. I think dating right now is really interesting. We never knew what was going to happen when we introduced the technology of dating apps. And so this has just been one massive social experiment on, what happens when you have open access to everyone that's available.
Can we hit the rewind button? Oh my gosh. It's been crazy. Okay, so we're going to do like a fun little like this or that rapid fire Q&A thing because I love doing this on my podcast. So the first question, because I know you love books and reading.
Yes.
Do you like physical books or Kindle?
Physical books. I have a huge like bookshelf in my storage unit, and every time I go home maybe every 3 or 4 months, I swap out my books.
Oh my god,
it's amazing. Yeah.
What's the last book you read?
So the book I'm reading right now is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, but there's actually a book I would recommend, and it is called, it's a mouthful, so excuse me, Magellan's Terrifying Circumnavigation of the Globe, and it's called Over the Edge of the World. And it's actually a diary about when Magellan actually traversed the entire globe and found the Strait of Magellan at the bottom of South America.
What?
And it's crazy. If you travel a lot in your day-to-day life, I highly recommend reading it, because it's crazy to think about what travel was like, way back when.
Oh my gosh, I can't imagine. And I complain about flying.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, are you an early riser or a night owl?
Night owl.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hate waking up early.
I see you as a morning person, though.
I like to work in the morning. As soon as I wake up, I like to start working immediately for like a good 3 or 4 hours, but I hate waking up early.
Me too. But once I'm up, I love it. But
yeah, same.
Yeah, for some reason, I can't fall asleep at night, so I'm a night owl too.
Oh, yeah.
Beach or mountain?
Mountains.
Me too.
Certainly. Which mountains?
I like Denver a lot, but also the Alps are really, really pretty.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I went to Montana recently and loved it. It was so pretty.
Oh my gosh.
I love the Blue Ridge too, because obviously I'm from Virginia, but Montana, stunning. Highly recommend it.
I need to see it for myself.
Ski season's coming up.
Yes.
We should do a ski trip.
I think Big Sky is there. Is that?
Yeah, Big Sky or Whitefish. Whitefish, Montana was my favorite. It was stunning.
Let's go. Do you ski?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I kind of ski. I started learning a couple years ago.
I'm from Colorado. Do you ski?
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Zoom or in-person meeting?
Ooh, Zoom.
Zoom, really?
Yes, I work remotely, and I like being able to work uninterrupted. And so, like, if it's a really important meeting, like a workshop or something, I like to fly in for those and be in person. But 9 times out of 10, I feel like you can get a meeting done pretty quickly over Zoom. And
that's true. Or it could even be an email.
Yeah, it could be. Yes, a lot of meetings can be emails.
What is your dream car?
Ooh. I don't know much about cars, but I think if I had a dream car, it would be a Rolls Royce.
I totally see it.
One of those 1930 models, the long, like, the cars that the mafia used to be in all of the movies.
I was thinking about the Queen of England, but okay, the mafia.
Oh, did the Queen of England also have a Rolls Royce?
Is she a Bentley person? No, I think she's a Rolls Royce.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm talking about royal weddings, like they're in like the Rolls Royce, like the white one.
I have no idea. Maybe I'm talking about a Bentley. See, this is how much I know about cars. I like the car that like has the people in the back and then it has a really long front. Okay.
The one that gets you from A to Z. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the one that works. I'll take any car that works.
Oh my gosh. No, but I see you or even like a G-Wagon.
I don't even know what a G-Wagon is.
What?
Is that like a Jeep?
Yeah, it looks like a Jeep, but it's a Mercedes, so it's like way more expensive.
Oh, okay, yeah. I could do that.
I think so.
I like an SUV.
Yeah, but definitely like luxury, but like a classic. So Rolls Royce is totally your vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Okay, I always have trouble with this one because I can never decide. So I usually do both, but you have to pick one: massage or facial.
Oh, massage.
Yeah.
I do a lot of reformer Pilates, and my teachers are ruthless. So I love a good massage.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram. I actually don't have a TikTok.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm not big on social media. I often delete mine, but I've been trying to keep it open because I know a lot of like my friends and coworkers back home like to keep up with me. So I've been trying to keep it on. Why do you delete your Instagram?
I'm just curious.
Sometimes I just like to be off the grid, I feel like it makes me more present. I don't do the doom scrolling when the app is off my phone. Because all of those, like, how you can set the screen time limits. I always ignore those.
Oh, me too.
So that doesn't work for me. If the app is off my phone, I won't scroll.
Wow, that's so smart. It makes you so much more productive.
Yeah, I spend my time in better places when I do that. But that's the primary reason.
You're like everything that I know I should be, but I'm not.
No, I wouldn't say that's true. I'm a bit of a hermit too.
I love that though.
See, this is why we were great roommates. We actually never fought as roommates. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think we had a single fight.
And you know what? I fought with every roommate before that.
Yeah, my freshman roommate actually didn't stay with me the whole year. She left halfway through the year. So yeah.
So is it normal or is it just us?
I don't know. Maybe it's us. Maybe
we're the problem wrong with me that people can't live with me, but we could live with each other. And you were a great roommate.
Yeah, same.
Like never had any issues. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say it's everyone else because you are very low key, and I'd like to think that I am too when it comes to living. We just had
so much fun.
Yeah, we're just laid back. We're just trying to have a good time and.
Oh, well, thank you so much for coming on. This was such a good episode, and we're going to keep catching up, but we'll definitely sign off so you guys don't get bored.
Well, thanks for having me, Lisa. This has been fun.
Thank you.